we're actually the second educators in your children's life because you are the first teachers. And we want to work in partnership with all of you because we can't do this work alone.
Su voz cuenta y que si nos unimos podemos lograr grandes cosas para nuestros hijos.
I love the diversity of the school district. Whether you know it or not, this district speaks 83 different languages.
To know that the administrative offices, they have my back. Not only my back, but they have my child's back.
Every child, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of income, regardless of need, every child deserves to have their needs met.
No one person can do it alone. The teachers can't do it alone. Administration cannot do it alone. It's going to take the parents, the community.
I'm very thankful for the partnerships that we have with our communities in both cities that represent our school district. We always ask the question, how can we even do this better? And I think that's where community schools come in because that takes us to the next level.
I'm going to open up the March 21st, 2024 regular Board of Education meeting. In just a moment, we'll be going into closed session. Time will be given to speakers at the discretion of the board chairperson. Law allows the public to address the board on any matter not on the agenda, but the law prohibits action by the board on non-agenda items. Superintendent, would you mind taking roll?
Yes, Mr. Clark?
Here.
Ms. Larrett? Please note for the record that she's absent this evening. Ms. Lofthouse?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Huey?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. During closed sessions, we may be discussing any of the following matters: student matters, employer-employee relations, conference with legal counsel, conference with real property negotiators, and personnel matters. Public comments for closed session agenda items only at this time. I don't see any public comments in person. We have none online. So in that case, we'll be going into closed session. We'll be back at 6 p.m. for open session. Welcome back. Calling back to order the March 21st, 2024 regular Board of Education meeting, open session. If you wouldn't mind standing and joining me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. That brings us to item 4C, broadcast statement. A broadcast and recording is being made at the direction of the board, and the broadcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board Policy 1313 promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among employees, parents, and the public. We will treat staff, parents, and members of the public with respect and expect the same in return. If any member of the public uses obscenities or communicates in a demanding, loud, insulting, or demeaning manner, the board will calmly and politely admonish the person to communicate civilly. Public comments during board meetings are an important component of public engagement and transparencies. Members of the public will not be permitted to yield their speaking time to another member of the public. All written comments submitted by 3 p.m. today to the board have been read. Per the Brown Act, the board is not allowed to enter into a two-way discussion on any matter not on the agenda. That brings us to item D, roll call. Superintendent, will you call roll?
Yes, Mr. Melajor. Please note for the record he's absent tonight. Mr. Merrill?
Here.
Mr. Clark?
Here.
Ms. Larrett? And please note for the record she's absent tonight. Ms. Lofthouse?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Huey?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that brings us to item 5, reporting out of closed session. Superintendent, do we have anything to report out of closed session?
We have no action to report out tonight, Mr. Hui.
Thank you. Item 6, adoption of agenda, and I just want to make a note or request that there's a motion to adopt the agenda without the following item. Item 10, consent agenda, item H, which is approve expulsion recommendation, case number 2324-6S. This is actually something that was on our agenda our last board meeting, and we don't need to bring it back tonight. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda without the item that I mentioned?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Reed, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Lofthouse. Superintendent?
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Hui?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you. And that brings us to item 7, special presentations. We'll start with A, students. It looks like we do have a student recognition. Superintendent, would you like to introduce the student recognition?
Yes. My honor and pleasure to welcome the students that are with us tonight for the social emotional learning art contest. And these are students all throughout grade levels from elementary to middle to high school. And I want to welcome their families as well. We are honoring the winners of the SEL art contest, and our equity leaders were part of our judging team. But we're just very excited that we can celebrate these young artists. And if you haven't had a chance to look at their artwork, it is displayed in the back of the room. So please take a look when you have a chance. But at this time, I'm going to welcome Dr. Peace up to the podium, and she's going to make the introductions and share a brief presentation, and then we'll honor our students.
Good evening, President Hui, Dr. Kalikian, and the board. First, I'd like to introduce Kelly Samuelson. She is our curriculum and instruction specialist for SEL and equity. There's Kelly. Hi. So a little bit about SEL Day. SEL Day is a global grassroots campaign for social emotional learning to support students' academic, mental health, and well-being. Since its inception in 2020, hashtag SEL Day has reached over 40 million views. In 2023, over 4,000 SEL champions representing all 50 US states and 87 countries made over 11,000 commitments to showcase, promote, advocate, and support SEL Day. In FCUSD, we are particularly proud that we not only have a curriculum for every single grade level, but we also have teachers, administrators, and support staff who demonstrate and model SEL strategies every single day. So before we get to our winners, I do want to acknowledge some of our community sponsors. University Art provided $25 gift cards for every winner. And then we also have a community member, Miss Diana Sharp, who provided $25 gift cards to Michael's Art Supply. And so as a result of their generosity, each student is going to receive 2 $25 gift cards today. So at this time, I'm going to ask all of the winners to come stand behind me. I will have them introduce themselves because I want to make sure that their names are pronounced correctly. And then they'll come up and line up for pictures for the photo. All of our winners line up. I will say for our pre-K, TK category, we have an AM preschool class, the class one, so that we have a lot of young scholars here with us tonight.
Hi, my name is Jordan.
Hi, Jordan. Okay, so Jordan, you get ribbon. Jordan. Yes, we're grading you.
Second.
So we'll give you yours.
My name is Hannah Grace Joyda.
What grade and what school?
4th grade in Goldridge. I'm Eloise. Luca Gutierrez. For 100% preschool. One. That's so good. Let's go. Gotcha. My name is Sayandri Guha. I'm in 5th grade and I go to Theater Judah. I'm Chief Mendoza.
And parents, we're gonna have a photo op for you in a second.
I'm Adrit Reddy Gongidi from Goldridge. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Natalie Elliott Cisneros, 12th grade at Folsom High, as well as a 3-time winner.
Oh, I was gonna brag on you, but you beat me to it. And we did have a couple of students who were ill and were unable to attend tonight.
I think there might be a couple in the back too.
Hi, I'm Anna Hong. I'm in 7th grade and I go to Sutter Middle School.
All right, can we give them a round of applause, please? Parents, here's your photo op.
And we'd love to come down and get a picture as well, if
Yes,
that's all right.
Yes, I wanted to give parents an opportunity real quick.
Are we going down first?
It's okay.
Tall people in the back.
I guess I'll go this way. Right.
And then our board is going to join us for a photo as well. Can I have you guys scoot in a little bit closer to each other? There we go.
Natalie and Anna tuck
And
in the
then I wanted
back.
to be able to get a picture. Yeah, Kelly, you and I need to be in there.
Yes. And don't go anywhere, anybody. Hold those poses. Oh, yes. All right, stay right there, please. One more moment. One more moment. All right, I'll look up here. Thank you. Stay there. More parents. Celebrities.
All right, great job, everybody. Thanks for being here. It's really fun to see all your smiling faces. We're really happy to have you. So that brings us to item 7B, staff. Looks like we do have a recognition for our staff as well. Superintendent, would you like to introduce this?
Yes, in going with the theme of March as Art Appreciation Month, we're also going to recognize the amazing visual and performing arts instruction that happens at all of our schools, elementary to middle to high school. And joining us this evening is Pablo Castellanos, who is the department lead at Vista Del Lago, who is going to share tonight's presentation and share the gamut of art experiences, visual and performing, that our students are exposed to. Welcome, Mr. Castellanos.
Thank you, Dr. Clegan. And good evening, Board President Huey, Superintendent Clegan again, and all members of the board, and everybody in this room. That's a tough act to follow. Yeah, okay, here we go. So I'm Pablo Castellanos. I'm here on behalf of Mindy Andrus, representing FCUSD Visual and Performing Arts, rather celebrating FCUSD Visual and Performing Arts. So March is the month to celebrate arts education in schools. March is Arts Education Month, Youth Art Month, Music in Our School Month, Theater in Our Schools Month, and Dance in Your Schools Month. A lot of art. So this month, we recognize the visual and performing arts program, students and teachers in FCUSD. We believe that the arts are for every child in every school, every day. The FCUSD School Board recognizes and values arts education in our schools and supports our efforts to provide excellent programs for all students. FCUSD continues to partner with the California Department of Education, the Sacramento County Office of Education, the California Arts Project, and many other art community members to bring a rich and robust VAPA experience to our students. We look forward to a bright future in the Visual and Performing Arts Department as we continue to build and improve our programs for all students. For more information on our visual and performing arts programs, you can visit our VAPA webpage or our elementary music, art, and PE webpage. Thank you all for your support of our VAPA programs. If you have any questions, please contact Mindy Andrus at mandrus@fcusd.org. Or I would just like to say you could probably talk to any arts educator in our district if you have anything to ask about arts. Thanks everybody for your time.
That's great. Thank you so much. If there are any comments or questions by the board, I just would say I appreciate the presentation. I know my own family's been really impacted by several different teachers within the arts program. So really appreciate all your hard work and appreciate the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huey.
All right. So that brings us then to item 8, public comment. Time will be given to speakers at the discretion of the board chairperson. The law allows the public to address the board on any matter not on the agenda, but the law prohibits action by the board on non-agenda items. So we will offer 3 minutes for the public, 4 minutes for students. And we'll start with Ashani Shah, and she will be followed by Kanishk Deshmukh. Ashani, are you here? Coming up, okay. Welcome.
I am Shani Shah. I'd like to thank you all for listening to the parents and students at Folsom Middle School and putting our thoughts into action and approving Spanish 2 at Folsom Middle School in the 8th grade. We just got the email this afternoon, so thank you once again. I know this is contingent in that you find a teacher for Spanish 2, but I am very confident in your ability to, find a teacher for Folsom Middle School like you did for Sutton Middle School. And you have the support of all the parents. If you need us to do anything, put the word out there, we're here, and we can do anything, to help you find a teacher for the students. And I'd love to form partnership with you guys and a transparent communication, a channel to stay jointly updated for any action required and, status updates for this particular matter. And once again, thank you for your effort in approving Spanish 2 at Folsom Middle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Kanishk Deshmukh, and it will be followed by Mustayin Naeem. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Kanish Deshmukh, and I am a 7th grade student who attends Spanish 1B in Folsom Middle School. I was informed about the developments that Spanish 2 will not be offered next year when I will be in 8th grade. This was a huge disappointment for me and my peers. When I was enrolled in middle school, I was enthusiastic about learning a new language. This is why I decided to choose Spanish 1A as my elective for that year. This year, I will be completing Spanish 1B in 7th grade. However, with Spanish 2 not being offered for the next school year, I would either have to repeat Spanish 1B or have a gap of a year, which would trigger a need of passing a challenge test to enroll in Spanish 2 at the high school level. These options are not ideal for my learning because repeating the same course or taking a challenge test can hamper my and many other students' interest in the subject. This is why This is why I would request on behalf of the students that the FCUSD board should consider to offer Spanish 2 in the coming school year at Folsom Middle School. Thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you. All right, Mustain Naeem will be followed by Vivan Shah. Welcome.
Hey, my name is Mustain Naeem. Thank you for having me here. So I think after the nice speech from Kanishk, I only have a little bit to add. So my son, he's in the same boat, took Spanish 1A in 6th grade, then doing 1B in 7th, and he was looking forward to Spanish 2 on the 8th grade. So obviously, initially when we didn't see that in the course offering, we were all upset, but now thanks to you guys, it looks like we are expecting a resolution, and we're really hoping we can find a teacher so that we can have our students take Spanish 2 in 8th grade. Now, I just want to point out one thing, like a lot of the times I think we're hearing, okay, FMS is not offering it, or Sutter Middle is offering, they have a teacher, we don't. So I think one follow-up request to the board would be to look at all the schools in a unified manner when these courses are offered. And another request is we're finding this at the last moment after the registration. So if there is a way this could be addressed proactively, students could be given enough notice earlier that this is the offering plan for this year, I think it will be a lot less tension on the students. So if there's something that we could do together, parents and board, to kind of streamline that path, I think we'd really appreciate that. And again, thank you that we're all hoping the outcome that Spanish 2 will be offered in FMS, and you guys will do all it takes to get the teacher. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next speaker is Vivan Shah, followed by Nika Vaughn. Welcome.
My name is Vivan Shah, and I'm in 7th grade at Folsom Middle School. So in 6th grade, I applied for Spanish 1A, and so this year I'm doing Spanish 1B, and learning a new language is a substantial part of life, but without the option of that as an elective, many of my peers are choosing to take a different route with their electives instead of going with Spanish, and they might not be able to take Spanish in high school. So many of the students who feel they've already mastered the class feel that it's a waste of time to repeat the class. So it's imperative that we practice the education for a new language because it's so complex to remember. And we need a teacher because last year we had 4 different teachers, which was complicated, and many students did not pass that year and almost failed the class. That's all I have.
Thank you. All right, next speaker is Nika Vaughn, followed by Sophia Montes. Welcome.
Hi. So ladies and gentlemen of the board, my name is Nika Vaughn, and I'm honored to be one of the 6 full-time counselors at Folsom High. I stand before you today with a deep sense of responsibility and purpose, recognizing the crucial role each of you plays in shaping the educational landscape of our community. As stewards of our children's future, your dedication and commitment to fostering excellence in education are commendable. We are truly thankful for each and every one of you that serve on our board. Dr. Cleveland, we want to thank you for your years of service and dedication, and we wish you well in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
We would like to express our gratitude to the board and district for recognizing the need to add additional counseling FTEs. We are here to share this evening just a glimpse of what's happening at Folsom High School. We are at the end of our registration season. This is one of the most wonderful times of the year for us. I'm completing my 12th school year at Folsom High, and during this time, I get so excited when it's time for us to be able to meet individually with every single one of our current students. We review their 4-year plans, we go over A through G requirements, their post-secondary options, and we assist guiding them with their course selections. We also collaborate with our middle school counselors to present to current 8th grade students in their English classes. We present to them information about the transition to high school. We start discussing A through G requirements, high school graduation requirements, pathways, electives, athletics, clubs, and so much more. We also make sure to spend time with the parents. We invite them to come to a presentation with a Q&A forum. When we then return back to the middle schools and meet individually with each one of them, each one of the students to discuss their course selection and answer any further questions they may have. We provide each of them with a carbon copy of their classes they've selected and a correspondence to their parents if needed. It is imperative to us that the students know it is imperative to us that the students know who we are, so when they arrive on our campus in August, they see a familiar face and have an adult on campus that they already know. To date, we have met individually with 731 11th graders going into their senior year, 715 10th graders going into their junior year, 699 9th graders going into their sophomore year, and 599 8th graders joining us from middle schools. Yep, if you calculated that, that's the 2,744 students. We also anticipate new students enrolling over the summer, and will welcome them with a welcome email sharing all the resources and information that our current students receive. This is all possible because you did allow us to add additional counseling services. For our current seniors, we had the pleasure of assisting them with the college application process by providing them with workshops and helping them with their college applications. On Thursdays, our staff wears shirts to represent colleges, trade schools, and different industries. Currently, it has become a celebratory time for our seniors because they're now getting acceptance letters and making decisions for their future. We just want to say thank you.
Thank you. It's Sophia Montez, followed by Rebecca Mott. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the board and Dr. Kaligian. My name is Sophia Montez, and I am also one of the 6 full-time counselors at Folsom High School. This is my 3rd year in the district and my 2nd year at Folsom High School. I was previously at Folsom Lake High School. I want to reiterate Ms. Vaughn's thanks to the board and the district for recognizing the need to add additional counseling staff. I am here alongside Ms. Vaughn to share more information about the happenings at Folsom High School. Today, I want to highlight our Success 101 course. So for those of you who are not familiar, Success 101 is currently a freshman elective designed to provide students with additional support that they need to transition into high school. We currently offer 2 sections, and this course introduces students to important study skills, communication, and other life skills that will serve them throughout high school. Students are identified based on many factors, including low grades in middle school, and often identified with the help of our counterparts at the middle schools. Many of our Success 101 students come from the CARE program that is similar to our program at Sutter Middle School. This school year, Folsom High School counselors have begun pushing into and supporting this class on a weekly basis. We provide students with weekly grade checks, regular check-ins about their grades and attendance, and support with important soft skills that they are learning, such as communications with teachers via email, appropriate use of pause or advisory time, 4-year planning, organization, time management, transcript reviews. This allows students who are often identified as at risk to work closely with their counselors and better understand our role in their education in a unique way so that they know that we are resources that they can come to throughout their next 4 years. Next school year, we are adding additional sections of this course to accommodate not only our freshmen, but our sophomores that need continued support. We are also excited to offer peer tutoring as a course where students will be assigned to a class such as Success 101 or a foundations level math course where our upperclassmen are able to earn credit while helping others. We are excited about these offerings and the intervention that they will provide to our students that need them most. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and the last in-person card I have in front of me is Rebecca Mott. Rebecca, welcome.
I just wanted to stand and talk about a comment that was made at the last board meeting that was very frustrating and hurtful. But first, I wanted to let you know a little bit about my history and why this hit me kind of hard. My great-grandmother is Armenian, and she came during the genocide, got through and got into America when she was younger with her family. She married an Armenian and had my grandfather, and so my grandfather is 100% Armenian, and they landed and ended up in Maryland. My grandfather married my grandmother, who is not Armenian. But I come through the Machoyan line of Armenians. So I grew up loving my great-grandmother. They lived back east, but I got to visit quite often. And my grandfather visited a lot, so I learned to enjoy the Armenian traditions. Of course, enjoy Armenian food. You know, it's a wonderful heritage. So when I was here, last meeting, and Mr. Clark, you made the statement, quote, the older generation kept bickering about the genocide. We know it happened, but move on, was very, very hurtful to me. Because that would never be said in a Black community. It would never have been said to a Jewish community. It would never be said in a Indigenous peoples community. So for it to be said in a community about the Armenians is a very difficult one, because there are a whole bunch that work for the school district. There are a whole bunch that come to school in the school district. And so it's a very hurtful thing to say. And it's also still happening today. Armenians are still being killed for their religion and because of their who they are. So it's fine to have an opinion. You can have an opinion, but when you are on a board, or when you are on the district as much as you are, I think that those opinions need to be kept to themselves and should not be talked out loud. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. That was our last in-person comment. We're going to go online if we have any. We have no comments online. If there's no objection from the board, I actually would like to see if it's okay that Dr. Kaligian address the Spanish. I know there were a few comments around that tonight. I know typically we don't enter into two-way conversation, but we have some recent information that kind of informs some of those comments, if that's okay with the board. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Hui. Yes, it is a recent development that we are going to be recruiting for a Spanish teacher at Folsom Middle School to offer Spanish 2 for one more year, as we will be doing at Sutter Middle School too. So the current 7th graders in Spanish 1B, contingent on us finding a Spanish teacher, will have that opportunity next year.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate all the public comments and advocacy for programs like that. So that'll bring us to item 9, reports of district organizations, starting with the Student Advisory Board.
Just another reminder that SAB is hosting the 2nd Annual International Night at Cordova High's Performing Arts Center on April 30th. SAB, we're working hard to promote the event and to advertise across the district, and we're hoping for some great performances. The next second to last meeting of the school year is on Wednesday, April 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you. And California School Employees Association.
I think we have a representative tonight.
Okay. Folsom Cordova Education Association.
Good evening, Dr. Kaligian, President Hui, and Board. I just want to take a moment to thank the teachers from Mangini Ranch and White Rock Elementary who are here tonight, as well as Nika, Sophia, and Pablo who already presented. I know they're within 24 hours of a much-needed spring break. We have no other report other than wish everyone a very happy spring break.
All right, thank you. Folsom Cordova Leadership Association. We have not seen nobody here for that one either? We can go, okay, yes. Ms. Cabrera.
My apologies. I'm so used to coming up here for DLAC. I am representing our president, Peter Maroon, and there's a written message, so forgive me, but I will be reading that, okay? Good evening, Dr. Kaligian, President Hui, esteemed members of the board, esteemed members of cabinet, and honored guests. On behalf of FCLA, it is with great pride that we recognize the outstanding achievements of 5 exceptional administrators within Folsom Cordova Unified School District, as acknowledged by AXA Region 3 community. Firstly, we extend our heartfelt congratulations to Dr. Sarah Kaligian, FCUSD Superintendent, for her well-deserved recognition as the Exemplary Woman in Education Award recipient. Dr. Kaligian's dedication and leadership have undoubtedly paved the way for excellence within our district. Also, we applaud Sean Martin, Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, for being honored as the Business Service Administrator of the Year by AXA Region 3. His commitment to financial stewardship, strategic planning has been instrumental in ensuring the fiscal health of our district. Furthermore, we commend Don Ogden, Associate Superintendent of Human Resources, for his distinction as a Human Resources Administrator of the Year. Mr. Ogden's tireless efforts in fostering a supportive and inclusive work environment have greatly contributed to the success and well-being of our staff. Terry Daniels, principal of Folsom Middle, deserves recognition for her outstanding leadership and dedication to excellence, earning her the title of Middle School Principal of the Year from AXA Region 3. Under her guidance, Folsom Middle School has flourished and is a hub of learning and innovation. Last but not least, we celebrate Vicki Baduras, principal of Natomas Station Elementary School, for her achievement as the elementary principal Silver Star recipient. Ms. Baduras's unwavering commitment to creating a PBIS school for student success and academic excellence sets a shining example for educators everywhere. These exemplary administrators embody the core values of FCLA, demonstrating unwavering support for the management team, exceptional leadership in program management, and a steadfast commitment to educational equity and quality. Their dedication to professional growth, coupled with their innovation approaches to problem solving, truly sets them apart. Congratulations to each of our esteemed colleagues on this well-deserved recognition, and a sincere thank you to everyone who has contributed to their success. Together, we continue to make a profound difference in the lives of our students and our community. Thank you.
Thank you. And I suppose you want to stay right up here?
Very quickly, DLAC, shifting gears here, met on March 12th, which is Tuesday, March 12th. Several topics of discussion, really just continuing with the planning, but a topic of biliteracy pathways, which you'll hear more about at our Parent Summit. As we recognize students who receive their seal of biliteracy, there's a journey along the way as students maintain that biliteracy. So we're looking for ways to recognize students on that pathway. And it's not surprising to hear that students start before they're seniors. So more on that in the next report. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That brings us to item 10, agenda consent. We will be pulling item G, approve expulsion reentry recommendation case number 223-2S, as well as item I, approve expulsion recommendation case number 2324-7S, so that our student board member can abstain from both of those. Are there any other items any board members would like to pull off? Hearing that there are none that I'm hearing, is there a motion to approve the agenda consent with the exceptions of item G and I?
I'll motion.
Motion by Ms. Lofthouse. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Mr. Clark. Superintendent?
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse? No, we pulled that one off when we adopted the agenda. Yeah. Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Hui?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so then to item G, approve expulsion re-entry recommendation, case number 2223-2S. We won't be making any comments on this, but we do want to pull it so our student board member could abstain. In that case, would you like to, I need a motion for that item.
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Reed. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Lofthouse. Superintendent?
Mr. Merrill,
Abstain.
Mr. Clark,
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse,
Aye.
Mr. Reed,
Aye.
Mr. Hui.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you. And item I, approve expulsion recommendation, case number 2324-7S. Do we have a motion to approve item I?
I'll move it.
Motion by Mr. Clark. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Reed. Superintendent?
Mr. Merrill,
Abstain.
Mr. Clark,
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse.
Aye.
Mr. Reed,
Aye.
Mr. Hui.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. And on to item 11, discussion action, item A.
Mr. Hui, before we go on, may I
of
make
course.
an introduction? Yeah. Thank you so much. One of the actions that's on the consent agenda that the board approved tonight is the personnel action form. And on that form, we did recommend and approve a new principal for White Rock Elementary School. So it's my honor to introduce to you Mrs. Tanya Labasse, our new principal for White Rock Elementary School, starting for the 24-25 school year. Welcome, Mrs. Labasse. And I have just a short bio to read, and then we'll give you a moment. Mrs. Labasse brings a dynamic blend of leadership and expertise to our school community. She joins FCUSD with 22 years of experience in various educational roles, including as a principal in Travis Unified, a coordinator of educational services, and a classroom teacher for Dixon Unified. Throughout her experience as an administrator and a teacher, Mrs. Labasse has demonstrated a passion for creating supportive learning environments where students thrive. Very excited to welcome you aboard, and welcome again, Tanya.
Thank you so much, Superintendent, and thank you so much, Board, for having me here today. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be joining the Folsom Cordova Unified School District family, and can't wait to meet all the students, families, and staff at White Rock. Thank you again.
Thank you. Congratulations and welcome. Apologize for almost skipping over you. I'm not used to being at discussion action before 7, so I'm not quite sure what to do with myself. So item 11, discussion action, item A, adopt resolution number 03212425, specifications of the board election order and consolidation with the November 5th, 2024 general election.
Yes, preparations are currently in progress for the November 5th election, and we have 2 elected board member seats with terms expiring December 1st, 2024. The incumbents are Tim Hui and Chris Clark, the seats that will be open at that time. The resolution that the board will be approving tonight covers the following items that then we submit to the county elections department, with the specification of the date and the purpose of the election, the candidate's statement and the number of words per cost, and in this case, it's 200 words per statement, the method of breaking the tie votes, and that's done by lottery, and then the fourth is consolidation within the presidential statewide general election. So all of that is included in the resolution that the board would be approving, and those are requirements for us to submit to be consolidated with the presidential election in November.
Thank you, Dr. Kaligian. Are there any questions from the board? All right, I have no questions either. I don't see any in-person public comments. Do we have any online public comments? None online. In that case, bring it back to the board for final comments or for a motion to approve item A.
I'll move to approve.
Motion to approve from Mr. Clark. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from Ms. Lofthouse. Superintendent?
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Hui?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Brings us to discussion. Item 12, discussion. We'll start with item A, Indigenous Peoples Day recognition ideas.
Yes, this item's coming back to the board this evening as a request from our February 1st board meeting. And we're excited to talk about the evolution of how we're including Indigenous Peoples Day and other commemorations, commemorative days and observance days that are reflected in our Administrative Regulation 6115. And we would like to share with you the cultural calendar that now is more forward-facing and hopefully easier
for students, staff, and families to navigate. I'm going to let Dr. Huber share the first couple of slides, then we'll demonstrate the calendar. And I do want to acknowledge our equity leaders on our CNI team that have done so much work to create these calendars with all the many days reflected there, so we can celebrate our cultures and the wonderful assets everyone brings to us. Dr. Huber.
Thank you very much. And I will be also turning the microphone over for a portion to Dr. Peace, because as Dr. Clegan spoke of, it's Dr. Peace and the equity leaders that have been working on this calendar. Can we go to the next slide? That we are going to, again, put so it's more forward-facing. Our teachers have had access to this calendar for quite some time, but it is the ongoing work of our equity leaders. But again, just as a reminder to everybody, in terms of ceremonies and observances, those aspects of those regulations live in our board policy 6115 and our administrative regulations 6115. And then in terms of the concerns and the desires brought forward by our students, most predominantly at Vista, but we also heard from students from Folsom High School and Cordova over the course of the year, the desire to bring more of that cultural information, if you would, forward so that students were exposed to it. Also, this kind of goes hand in hand with some of the realizations some of our students are having as they take the new classes that were offered this year that we piloted and had a presentation on at last board meeting. So with that, I'm going to ask Dr. Peace to speak a little bit about the actual culture observances calendar, and if we could go ahead and click on that link so we can see that, that would be great.
Hello again. So the purpose of this calendar was really to increase awareness amongst staff of cultural observances for our student population as they may be celebrating. And that goal was to really develop empathy around observances that overlap with school days. Teachers have access to this through the teacher's resource page. We are planning to move this to the SEL and equity page that's available to the public. The calendar includes many of the days of significance that celebrate cultures such as Indigenous Peoples Day, Cesar Chavez Day, Dolores Huerta Day. However, days such as like California Poppy Day, it's not one that students are likely to celebrate and does not have a cultural tie. And it does not impact student engagement, which is why it is not listed on the cultural observances calendar. However, in contrast, cultural practices such as Ramadan are included in our cultural observances calendar that's available to teachers, as Ramadan is a month of spiritual rejuvenation reflected through fasting, prayer, reflection, and community. So we recognize that students' engagement may be impacted during this time. This is why we're making teachers aware of it. So of the 21 days that are listed in the administrative regulation, 6115, I just want to draw attention that it references including but not limited to, and I really want to acknowledge our equity leaders who have exceeded the 21 and really taking like an approach in celebrating the rich diversity of our district through language, religion, different identities, and we've tried to capture that for each of our individual months. So shout out to the district equity leaders for all of their hard work on this. Again, this will be added to our calendar, our webpage, in addition to our recognition months, but this is focusing on cultural observances, not general dates that may have been suggested by either the state or CSBA that do not have cultural observations connected to it.
And then perhaps we could go back to the FCUSD webpage, because that happened pretty quickly, but we actually do now have the calendar located right there on the very first page. When you go to the calendar, it takes you to our calendar page, obviously. So if you click on that, there you go. And now the FCUSD Cultural Observances calendar is also hyperlinked with our other calendars. So really easy to find this from our website now.
And if we could click there one more time, I thought maybe we could go back to October too, so we could just highlight Indigenous Peoples Day and click on the links that are there so our public can see that as well.
And I want to add that Indigenous Peoples Day has always been on our cultural observances calendar. That was not an ad, based upon request. That has always been present there. That is very important to us.
Thank you. And that's listed there under October 9th and a little bit of history there. So if you click on those hyperlinks, you get more background. Is that correct, Dr. Peace?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
And I believe that takes us to the questions portion of our presentation. Since we're not looking at it, I'm not sure.
I just had one quick question. If perhaps anyone in our community notices that maybe a cultural day is missing, is there a pathway for getting that information to us so we can ensure that that's corrected?
Absolutely, they can contact me.
Perfect, thank you. And thank you for your team, because this is a lot of work, and ensuring that it is done in a respectful manner. So thank you, and I'm really excited to see it. I actually spent quite a while searching for it on the website when our students were saying that they were able to dig in around and find it. So I love that it's forward-facing and right there. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? I would just ask, and appreciate this as well. It was fun to look through the calendar as well and see all the different days. And Dr. Pease, I think you mentioned the Cultural Observances Day this isn't new. Essentially what we're doing here is just providing a way to make it a little bit more apparent to everybody and accessible to people.
Right, and I want to make sure that we're not confusing it with our recognition months, right? So we celebrate our rich diversity in this district, so we have recognition months that are referenced by the California Department of Education, but we also recognize that we have way more than 10 things that we need to celebrate in our district. And so that was the reason for the cultural observances calendar, to really dig into each of those months and see what is within the month that should be recognized and celebrated, that our students may be honoring, observing, and being able to really just enter in that space with cultural humility, and also build empathy amongst our staff, so that they are aware of what young people might be experiencing when they enter the classroom.
Yeah, that's great. If there was a day, so this is an administrative regulation that kind of allows us to put this on the website right now, right? Doesn't need to be any sort of board action. I'm wondering, in the same vein, if there was a school site that, let's say, they did want to celebrate or recognize, and more than just having the calendar, something like Indigenous Peoples Day, would that be up to the school site, what they want to do with that, or how would that work?
Yes, that's up to the school site.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate it. So if there's no other questions from the board, it looks like we do have one public comment on this item, at least in person. So Dan Hess. Welcome, Dan.
Good evening, board. My name is Dan Hess. I am a Vista high school teacher. I teach AP Gov and Government, and my students are the ones who, back in October, first came and approached you about this issue. And I think that this has been a wonderful example for them to see how policy can be changed and the process to do that. And I wanted to just thank you for moving this forward and having, for all of you, to move this to the front page where it was easily accessible for the students to see and for the community to see. I think that so the project originally is a civic action project where they find an issue and they want to change, and then they go about researching it and figuring out a way to try to make that change happen. And I want to shout out my students, because this is normally just a project that they complete in a quarter, and they kept going. Most of the projects, they will sort of end at the end of the term, but they kept going, and I want to thank the superintendent as well for meeting with them at Vista and finding a way to make this happen. Even if it is just taking something that already existed and making it more forward-facing, that's huge to the students. And I want to say, as a teacher, that it was a wonderful learning experience for me as well, to interact with the students as they interacted with you. So thank you very much. And from a government teacher who will probably be sending more students your way as time goes on, thank you for working with the students and making something happen.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, I appreciate it. I think we do have one more public comment for this, and I do want to say we really do appreciate it. You had a lot of students showing up, and that's something we certainly enjoy and want. So thank you for the way you've been leading those students. So the other public comment is from Josie Visart.
Hi. Me and Maya are going to speak together, if that's okay, just on behalf, I guess, of everyone who's been up here for a while. So I just honestly wanted to say thank you. Thank you for working with us. I know it's been a little bit, but yeah, thanks for all your time, energy, effort. Thank you to the equity team. I think it was really cool. I looked through it earlier and I thought it was really cool to see all the different things on there, and it's been neat. So thank you guys.
Yeah, I would also really like to say thank you for all the effort that you put into like digging out that calendar and like adding all the stuff to it and like putting all the links to like better educate people if they are more interested in like a specific day or month or something. And thank you for listening to our voices. It's been really nice.
Thank you.
Great, thank you both. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I'll bring back any final public or final comments from the board. I should check, do we have any online comments? No, okay. I don't see any final comments from the board. Dr. Peace, thanks for your work on this with that team, and students, thanks for your advocacy for this. We really do appreciate it. So that brings us, I guess, one more clarification on this. This was a discussion item. This one, it's already online, so it sounds like this isn't something that would be coming back before us.
Right.
Okay, thank you. So then item 12B, Native American Title VI Education Program Grant.
Yes, we're bringing this topic back to the board as of a request from February 1st. But first of all, I want to recognize our partners from the Native American Parent Advisory Committee that are joining us today and their willingness and partnership in helping us in the application process of the Title VI federal grant to support our Native American students. And I want to thank Elena Cabrera, too, who is really our point person in putting together the application and submitting part 1 and getting ready for part 2. So with that, welcome, Ms. Cabrera.
It's been a great journey and lots of really great learning. I can't, this is work that really does require that collaboration. So I have a brief, slide, let me try this. I have a couple slides where we briefly describe the process to date. But before I get started, I do want to thank Josh Mize, the VP of NAPAC, and Jennifer Ragudo, who's a rep, who got a kind of a quick phone call from me and, in a nervous kind of urgency, and she was right there to help. Christine Perez, who is our secretary for NAPAC, and Nikki Grant, who is the chair. So thank you for being here today. So very quickly, what you see before you is, let me move the slides. Just a little background. One of the things that I want to highlight is the importance of the Title VI tribal consultation. So when we refer not only to NAPAC, but our partners, this is who we consult with our Indian education program with. And actually, they approached us in December to make us aware of this opportunity, and so that we have all of the opportunities here for our students who are a Native American, Alaskan Native, so that we are providing that education for them. So one highlight here, without reading everything, is that the purpose of this is to fulfill not only the requirement, but I want to highlight that tribal consultation is required for districts or schools with over 50% enrollment of, in this case, Native American and American Indian students. We don't have over 50%. But that doesn't matter. We have students that need that information, that need that connection to their culture. So Folsom Cordova did apply for the Title VI Part 1 Indian Education Grant on March 7th of this year. And thanks to the information that we received, it was definitely something we wanted to partner with. So if awarded, the federal government will work with our district toward the goal of ensuring the programs that serve our American Indian children, that our programs are of the highest quality and provide not only for the basic elementary and secondary educational needs, but also for their unique educational and culturally related academic needs. So that's an important piece for us in partnering. And just a little background, you'll notice things like recognition, respect, and relationship, and that plays a role in the consultation. Part of it is so that we recognize what each of us brings to the table in that collaboration. What are the benefits that we benefit that our NAPAC and our students, we reduce the American Indian, Native American disparities, which is very important to all of us. We build awareness of the historical burden and understand the challenges that one can face, okay? And also in part of partnering with this as a district, the recognition is that we create policy and collaborate with tribes, recognize even days of celebration, that we become aware. Also, and that we look at our budget and our budget reporting with how we support our American Indian and Alaska Native students and how they're represented. And also that we share student data, outcome data as it relates to academics, their A through D participation, by literacy recognition, absenteeism, anything related to data and how they're doing. So we're really keeping an eye on making sure that we're seeing the progress or lack thereof and responding accordingly. So just a little more on the meaningful consultation. What that does is it enhances the communication so that we can emphasize trust, respect, and shared responsibility. It also supports and recognizes the tribal sovereignty and the self-determination of the tribes. An outcome for us would be that we know the Native communities in our area and the surrounding area, and that our students are represented through, and that we have consensus-based decision-making. Also, that we act with respect and that we sustain the progress. The consultation process is cyclical and needs flexibility. We might come up with something now and 2 or 3 years decide that we're shifting, and that'll be with consultation. So one of the things I put together was this kind of timeline, because nothing happens once and then it's done. Everything's a process. So I want to first really recognize NAPAC for approaching us, and I believe that was on December 14th. I can assure you that that was not the first time they thought of our district and coming forward. So I really want to thank you for that. And that put us in motion to really connect with our NAPAC community. Dr. Huber and team met together with Nikki or set up some time so that we can come together as a district team. And at that time, some wheels got in motion. We met again on February 12th recently. And at that time, we had a deadline or a timeline coming up of an application for Part 1. At that time, what was really important is having connections to whether it's the U.S. Department of Ed, our local Parent Advisory Committee, or even other districts who have that information so that we can become more informed. We met recently, March 11th, was that? Yeah, that seemed like so long ago. And followed up with a process for Part 1. We're in current state where we recently are awaiting Part 2 to open up. Part 2 is the application process. We put our plan together and hopefully receive some funding to support the students. In that meantime, we will have, once the Part 2 becomes open and available to our district, there will be a public hearing. It is now set for April 18th. Thank you, Jennifer, for putting me in connection with all the right people. I appreciate that. And so April 18th, we will set a public hearing here so that we can share what the shared interests are and then provide some feedback as needed. And we're aiming to submit on Part 2. If it's available to us, we'll aim for whenever that deadline is to submit Part 2. And then after that, you can see the rest. We'll await an award and then get to work on our coordinated services. Any questions or comments?
Any questions from the board? Ms. Clark?
Yeah, I just want to thank NAPAC for bringing this to the forefront, even though we know that Native American Studies is part of the 4 disciplines of our ethnic studies program. But we're just adding that extra layer, and I'm glad that we're doing that. I do know that the state superintendent, Tony Thurman, was at the Capitol on Tuesday advocating for Native American studies and to bring it more to the forefront. So I'll be working closely with his office, and we're going to make it happen. But I just want to thank you for collaborating with the community, inviting me to your meetings. So we're going to make this happen.
Thank you.
I just did have one question with I think you mentioned we've applied for Part 1.
Yes.
And Part 1 is kind of just putting the plan together. Does that come with a grant rewarded as well?
Part 1 is the beginning of saying that we're eligible. We have to submit some student numbers. So I could say we have this many Native American, Alaskan Native students. However, what we have to do now is complete a 506 form. That form cannot be completed by us. It has to confirm tribal affiliation or band affiliation, and that's what NAPAC and actually our tribal centers do. We have one, there's one in Rancho Cordova, and the nearest one would be Shingle Springs, correct? But they can go to different tribal centers. And so our students who are of American Indian, Native American, they get verified as tribal members. So that's the process we're in right now. So in part one, we say we want to apply based on this need, we provide that data, and now we just have to show that.
Got it, okay. And then is the grant reward based off of the number of Native American students we have in the district?
Mhm.
Okay, perfect.
Approximately right now, we're looking at under 60 students that we know of, but you know, once you start identifying students and people come forward, that's what we anticipate will happen. Right?
Good, yeah, I don't have any other questions. I appreciate the
Sure.
work put into this. Thank you for bringing this to our attention, and you know, we'll be excited to see.
I want to make a comment
Yeah.
about the presentation. Prior to today, there was a submission to the presentation with some, on the timeline. March was moved to April on that consultation because the application part 2 has not yet opened. And I don't anticipate us meeting between now and tomorrow or the spring break. And then we added that public hearing, which was made known to us as of yesterday. Okay?
Perfect.
Thank
Great.
you.
Well, thank you. I don't see any in-person public comments. Do we have any online? No. Okay. Thank you.
so much.
Yeah,
Mhm.
appreciate it.
Mhm.
Right, that brings us to item 13, information. Item A through G access grant update.
And this is just a status update of where we are with the A through G grant. This has been a multi-year process, so there is a report attached to this, not an actual presentation, but I'll turn it over to Dr. Huber to just make any summary comments on this.
Yeah, this is simply wanted to share with the board. We're at the halfway point working through this. And, you know, one of the things I think that we're really proud of is the work, especially our counseling team has been doing in terms of bringing real consistency to the way that we talk about A through G, explaining it to students, also starting to really reach back to our middle schoolers so that, you know, our 8th grade students start understanding the concept of not only what are credits, you know, and the difference between if I pass a class at middle school and I pass a class at high school, what's the difference? And what does that whole thing about credits mean? Because that's a real leap for them in terms of understanding the importance of earning their credits. And then also in terms of just an understanding of certain classes are required if you want to apply to either the UC or the CSU system. And then even if you take those classes, you know, you have to get a certain grade in those classes, again, for it to count. And if that doesn't happen, what are the pathways and what are the safety nets in terms of helping students recover those credits and the proper grades so that they get the A through G? So we still have a good way to go, but we are making a lot of progress in our counseling team. Again, just hats off. They are really working hard and as a collaborative team. And real hats off also to Ms. Julie Warner, who's being our lead counselor and really kind of leading the charge.
Great. Well, thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. And it's, you know, I mean, looking a little bit through that report, it's really necessary. And I'm glad that we have some of that funding to help us with this, particularly at Cordova High. So thanks for all the hard work on that, and, you know, excited to see the outcome within these next few years. Any questions from the board regarding the A through G grant? Okay, I don't see any. It's just an information item. I don't see any public comment here. I mean, we don't have any online. So that brings us to item 14, Superintendent's report. Superintendent.
Wow, already. I want to congratulate our students who came forward tonight to be celebrated for our SEL art contest. And again, thank our equity leaders and just the whole way that we allow students to express themselves through the visual and performing arts, whether it's through the SEL art contest or through the highlights of what we're doing in visual and performing arts throughout the district. I want to celebrate and thank our teachers all throughout our grade levels that are giving students the opportunity to express themselves. And I know art wasn't my forte and still isn't to this day, but having amazing teachers can bring out the best and give us confidence in things and skills that we didn't think we had. I want to thank our counselors too, because this is the season where, you know, things are really ramping up with registration. And we do appreciate all that they do to support our students. Dr. Huber and I were at a conference this week earlier to a counseling work conference with CSU Sacramento. And just hearing the importance of the role of the counselors and the many hats that they wear, and just recognizing that. So we do thank our team of counselors. I want to congratulate our 60 parents that graduated in the next cohort of PK, Parent Institute for Quality Education. As we mentioned, this is our second cohort of parents who are going through this 8-week parent education course, and it's through the the community schools grant that we're able to host this opportunity for parents. But not only is it parent education, it's parent engagement, and it's also building our parents' capacity to build those bridges for their students for college and beyond. So we had many Spanish speakers, English speakers that we celebrated on March 13th, so congratulations to them and all those that are helping lead those classes with them. We just named our 9 classified employees of the year that we are sending their names to the county office now to be competing at the county level. But what's exciting about this group of 9 employees that are representative of, so many of our employees in the district, they are such a cross-section of the great folks that we have to support the different areas at our schools and departments. I'm going to call their names out. Janet McCarthy for clerical services, Scott Gonchas, custodial services, Jeannie Greenbaum, food services, Paige Wise, health services, Svetlana Gerasenkova, paraprofessional, Lorena Torres, security services, Tim Ortiz, skilled trades, Samuel Portillo, ETIS and technical services, and Maria Isabel Diego, transportation services. So congratulations to our 9 classified employees of the year for 2024. We wish them well in the county level competition. And with that, just wishing our students and our staff and our families a wonderful and restful spring break, and see you when we get back, April 1st.
Thank you, Dr. Clegan. We'll go now to item 15, board member reports. Start with our student board member, Ms. Merrill.
I'm going to start out with another shameless plug for International Night. Like I said before, on the April 30th at the very own Cordova High Performing Arts Center. I'm very hopeful. It's going to be a very fun day. I just want to get the word out. I can't stop getting the word out. It's of utmost importance to get the word of International Night out. And I also want to talk about the students' voice and resolve shown by the people who push this calendar, and across the district. They really represent a group of students that really push for change, and they're willing. They have the grit in themselves to come up here at this podium and talk for however many board meetings. They've been to as many as me. And I'm required to go to these. So I just want to congratulate their courage to get up on that podium and talk every single time. And it's nerve-wracking. And I can say that from experience. I know Matthew could say that. I know everyone who's been up on that podium could say that. And I just want to, I want to congratulate them and thank them. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Ms. Merrill. Ms. Loftus.
I also wanted to congratulate all of the artists we had here tonight. I love having students here, love honoring them, and so that was great. Congratulations to our AXA Leaders of the Year. We're very lucky in our district to have such educational leaders, and having strong leaders really helps every other aspect of the district, so congratulations. Thank you again to the equity leaders for their contributions for the cultural recognition calendar. Thank you very much to the students who tirelessly showed up and supported this, and I welcome Mr. Hess's students to come anytime. Congratulations to our classified staff of the year, and have a wonderful spring break.
Thank you. Mr. Reed?
No report this evening.
Mr. Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, let me address Mrs. Mott's comments. I've spent the last 7.5 years sitting on this board, and yeah, I know what it's like because I've been called every name but a child of God being on this board. I can share emails with you. I wish I can record phone calls of names that I've been called. I appreciate you coming up to the podium and telling me the wrong that I did, but you know what? I will apologize to you. I have nothing against Armenian people. As a matter of fact, I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends in different affinity groups. I spent the last 7.5 years getting to know these groups, getting to know their cultures, their struggles, their traditions. I've been to an Armenian wedding. I'm good friends with many of them. I've been to their homes. I've sampled Doma and Lavash and read their books and even watched their movies. One in particular is The Promise, because I wanted to know more about it. So if my comment was disrespectful to you, my parents always taught me to apologize and say, sincerely, I am sorry for that. Okay? Congratulations to our SEL artists. I had the opportunity to come to that CSC reception and look at all the work and talk to some of the students and talk with the parents, and I'm just totally impressed by the work that they put in. I want to start off by giving my apologies to Folsom Middle and Vista Del Lago, because I know that they had performances last week, and I do believe this week coming up. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make those, but I will be there in spirit. I did last week have the opportunity to attend the production of Romeo and Juliet at Folsom Middle School. And if you haven't been there, or if you haven't been to any of the plays, I encourage you guys to go. I want to congratulate them on a wonderful performance. And I also want to congratulate Cordova High School. I had the opportunity to attend their premiere gala, which was something new, but it was an outstanding event to interact with the performers before the play. And then they did an amazing performance of the Addams Family. So if you have a chance to go check it out, I think it's Friday and Saturday, please do, along with supporting our other VAPA programs. I want to thank Williamson Elementary for inviting me out to their coffee with parents. I had a good time in the parking lot while they were dropping their kids off and they were coming out and having coffee. We had an opportunity to talk about what was going on in the schools. And I also want to thank Williamson for having me out at their multicultural night. Again, that's important because I want to learn. I continue to learn about the different cultures and their traditions. So with that being said, that's all that I have. And one more thing. I do have a board of directors meeting with CSBA this weekend, and I think one of the things that we'll be looking at is the upcoming budget. For what I've been reading, it's kind of scary, and I wish Sean was here so I can kind of give him a nudge of encouragement to make it work in our district. But hopefully Sean will have something to report on. If not, I will. And Superintendent Kaligian, thank you for the wonderful presentation of at the Cordova Luncheon. And I look forward to sharing that presentation with the Board of Directors this weekend. So that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Just a few things from me. I'm looking forward to hearing, I know the SFID 3 committee met, I think last week or the week before. Heard it went great. I haven't really heard much else. I'm looking forward to getting an update for that. I was going to check in. Do we have a date on the calendar? Do you know, Dr. Clegan, for that update?
We have one more committee meeting after spring break, and then after that, we hope to have a committee report to the board. So probably that first meeting in May.
Okay, perfect. Well, I appreciate the work that's been going into that from community members as well as district staff, so thanks for that. Do want to give a big congratulations to Samuel. I know he's listening in the back. It's a well-deserved award. You're Classified Employee of the Year, and best of luck as you move on. Every time you come into a room, people smile because you bring a lot of life into it. So I'm glad that that is being recognized. Just two more things. One is, I know the last couple of board meetings, the idea of what we're doing with virtual public comment has come up. I don't necessarily need to push that much tonight, but I did want to recognize Mr. Reed at our last board meeting and asked for some information around how much does each public comment cost? There's a cost to having public comment online because we have to have staff here. I was a bit shocked by the number. I don't have the exact number in front of me. If somebody does, they can help me out, but it was well over $300 per comment. So, I think it is a discussion maybe that is when we have a full board, it'd be worth talking about again, maybe during public or our board member comments or advanced planning. Let's see if that's something that we do want to continue. I recognize the importance of it. Also want to recognize the reality of it. So, but I did want to make sure that we got that number out there. And last but not least, I hope everybody has a great spring break and gets lots of rest for any of those seniors that are waiting to hear for colleges or making their plans. I wish you the best of luck in these next few weeks. And with that, we'll move on to item 16, advanced planning. Item A, our next board meeting. There's a few of them in April, so I'm going to run through a few of them. The next regularly scheduled board meeting is on April 18th, but we will have a few other board meetings, and one before, one after. The first one's going to be on April 10th. That will be a closed session only meeting. So that is just a closed session for the board where we will be looking at the candidates that applied for the superintendent position. And then April 20th and 21st, we'll be having a meeting that also be closed session to be doing our interviews of the new the candidates for the superintendent position. So we'll have a busy April coming up. Item B is the 12-month board calendar. It's there for your review. Item C, suggested future agenda items. Are there any agenda items that any board members would like to suggest?
Yeah, Mr. President?
Mr. Reed.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind revisiting the discussion with the additional information that we have regarding the virtual access for public comments. If the board would, if I guess the majority of the board would be willing to entertain that conversation.
I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know that we had asked that information to kind of go out to the unions and have conversations. So I would just want to ensure that there's, before we put it on the calendar, that there's enough time that those conversations have happened.
Yes, and I did follow up with Ms. Sensenbach, and I did ask, does the union have a position on it? And they're taking a neutral position.
Yeah, so I'm open to it as well. That sounds like it's something you'd be open to. So go ahead, Mr. Reed.
Yeah, I have one more.
Yeah. Well, can I mention first?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not really all that necessary to say, but I imagine April 18th is going to be fairly packed. I don't know if that's something more that we're looking at in May. Do you have a sense of that right now? Okay, you don't have to.
I think the 18th
yeah.
is pretty packed, so maybe May 2nd.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get it in May if that's okay.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay.
And then secondly, I'd love to have on a future presentation, I guess it would be more for discussion, not an action item, but or information for that matter. An item related to the middle school honors programs that we have in the district. If again, if a majority of the board would be willing to have that presentation.
That would make sense to me as an information item, certainly. Any other thoughts on that?
I just, for clarification, like showcasing or?
More the status of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the rest of the board okay with that? Yeah, okay. Great.
Thank you.
Okay, any other items? All right, I'm not hearing any, so that would bring us to item 17, recess to closed session. It is not necessary. We got our business done in the first closed session, so I'm gonna skip all the way down to item 21, adjournment. So unless I hear any objections, we will adjourn. Not hearing any, we are adjourned.